love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home.
I'm drank up and I'm banked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it. I'm drank up and I'm banked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it, you elevate it.
I came over, I ain't sober, I'm still drunk, that's hangover. Might run it back when this page over. You the best thing, I done slaved over. Gon' arch you back and been way over. It's overdue for that understressing. Over him, now you underdressing. Call me up and I come finessing. Like, ooh, we shot it, what it do, what it don't. Baby, you a queen, you can move how you want. You was rocking with me when I couldn't stay afloat. They ain't never saying nothing wavy to a boat. Like, eyes up, look at me, now I'm the captain. Brought the camera, time for action. Split the legs just like a fraction. Tuck the napkin, time for snacking. You a mother meal. Tell me that it's mine, baby, tell me that it's real. Hit it to the max, well, tell me how it feel. It's gonna be a minute, cause I'm in it for the thrill. Make her feel like heaven, she gon' put me in the wheel. And willingly, I wanna do anything she wanna do. I ain't even wanna boo, but this is what the karma do. It's hard to be apart from you, cause ooh, I
love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home. You love it when I get so high and drop that thing so low. Make you sit right here. Now you can't go back home.
I'm drank up and I'm banked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it. I'm drank up and I'm banked up and I'm faded. You bend it down and you poke it up and you elevate it, you elevate it, you.
I'm in love with you, so what can I do? yeah. I'm tongue-tied, twisted around your finger like a piece of string. I'm winded, chasing after your ghost is real exhausting. I'm in love, but I don't think it's what I thought it was supposed to be. Love story, no guts and no glory. How did I get so dizzy thinking of you? I don't usually get like this. It's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? Well, I don't usually get like this. 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 Reminded of how I met you, tried to catch you falling. Instead I fell off myself and I just can't stop falling. These wings are gonna flap for me if I keep waiting. Keep waiting, keep waiting, keep waiting, keep waiting. How did I get so dizzy thinking of you? I don't usually get like this. I don't get like it's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? I just wanna kiss you. Well, I don't usually get like this. Get like this. Get like this. No, get like this. Get like this. Get like it, like this. She loves me not. This bouquet is all I got. I'm dreaming, or could it be a future for you and me? She loves me, I know it's true. Or maybe I'm the fool for you. I don't usually get like this. It's something about you I miss. Could it be we never had that kiss? Yeah, I don't usually get like this. Get like this. Oh, get like this. No, get like this. Yeah, get like this. Get like it, like this.
Feel like falling deeper. Cold nights 난 너무 싫어. 기다리기에는 너무 길어. 줬던 내 사랑이 식어. 기대만 하는 것도 난 힘들어. No, I can't, just can't. 가져 내 맘을, 놔줘 내 가슴을 다 바쳐 사랑하기엔 내 자신이 너무 걱정돼. 바보 같은 생각이야. 알아 멍청해. 상상만으로도 좋은 상상만으로도 힘든 이중적인 면을 가지고 있어. 사랑이라는 걸. Oh yeah. Baby, can't you come with me? Can't you hold my hand and leave? 근데 있잖아, 너라면 생각이 들어 해볼까 말까 내 다리가 걸어가는 방향이 어딘지 서로 궁금해져 버려 애써 맘 졸여 하늘만 보면서 언제쯤 알게 될까 너도 나와 같은 생각을 하고 있을까 한참을 멍하니 보다 보니 살짝 어두워진 색깔 불그스름한 노을의 때깔 상상만으로도 좋은 상상만으로도 힘든 이중적인 면을
You broke my heart a million times. Can't count the times I made you cry. Oh, we're such a mess now, and we're burning out. I get so sad at the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. I can't bear the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. You're still perfect as the day goes by. Even the worst ones hate, they make me smile. I stop the world if it would give us time, yeah, to work things out, to work things out, to work things out, to work things out, yeah, yeah, to work things out, to work things out. Oh, yeah, to work things out, to work things out. Can we be honest? You're my comfort zone. Whatever I say, don't let me go. I know you're angry, babe, and I am cold. I get so sad at the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. I can't bear the thought of losing you. I'm losing you. You're still perfect as the day goes by. Even the worst ones hate, they make me smile. I stop the world if it would give us time, yeah, to work things out, to work things out. To work things out, to work things out, yeah, yeah, to work things out, to work things out. Oh, yeah, to work things out, 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 to work things out.
What up, y'all? Let's make it happen. Welcome to another chapter of Rich People Read, where we read a book a month to instruct you in the ways of the successful. How you guys doing? How y'all doing? We getting ready to knock out 2 more chapters today. Hey, Lakeisha, how are you? How are you, Lakeisha? Thank you so much for being the #1 moderator here. What up? Oh, Alicia is here. I thought I saw, did I not see my man Sheed? I thought I saw Sheed here. Let me see. Oh, there he is. Hey, Alicia, how are you? What up, Sheed? Hey, Miss Drea. How you guys doing? Listen, we're going to get right into it. We got to knock out these 2 chapters, and then we'll be done for the day. We'll be done for the day. I didn't even know, my timer didn't go off, so I didn't know to even come over here. So I do a countdown, and then I have another timer that tells me that I'm close to the last 3 minutes. That didn't go off, and so I was like, something seems a little off. Came in here and realized that the system was already rolling. So sorry for the small, what was that? Maybe a minute, 2 minutes delay. Nevertheless, we are here. We're getting ready to read. What is Rich People Read? This is a live book club where we read a book a month to instruct you in the ways of the successful through the power of reading. You know, we read books that talk about money and success. We read books that talk about relationships and success. Everything is about success here, right? Whether it's about entrepreneurship, getting money and living a more comfortable life, or whether it's about love and romance. So to make sure that we are getting along a little bit better with those that matter to us in our lives, right? And so reading is important. And why do we call it Rich People Read? Because I don't know any rich people that don't. I don't personally know anybody that's wealthy that doesn't read. Anybody that tells you that they're making a lot of money and they're in their bag and so on and so forth, and they're not an athlete or a rapper, then they're probably either lying to you or they read and they just don't want to tell you. But I don't know too many avid readers that don't want other people to know they read. So they're probably just lying to you. Anyways, I appreciate you guys being here. We are currently reading the Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition. The Book of Obsidian, the ladies edition. We are on chapter 25, and today we're going to read about the colorism, Canard, and other Black female delusions. Colorism, that's a big issue for a lot of women, especially in the Black community, because it's a small war going on between dark-skinned and light-skinned women. It's a small war going on between dark-skinned and light-skinned women. And so we're going to read and see what my man Mumia Obsidian Ali has to say about that as we move forward with chapter 25. We're not going to do too much. Hey, OG Patrice, good morning. Good morning, love. We're not going to do a long monologue. We're going to just jump right into it. And I'm going to release you guys for the day. And then we're going to knock out chapter 25 and 26 today. And then tomorrow morning, we're going to read chapter 27, which is the very last chapter of this book. And then we start a new book on Monday. We've been reading all year long. I've never read this much in my life. I just got to be honest with you guys. Now, I read articles. I'm an internet guy. I read news stories. But a book is just something that I just never have been interested in reading. I read as it was necessary, not as leisure. And so now I'm really happy that you guys are helping me read more. I hope that I'm helping you read more. You know, listening to me read to you is just like reading a book. You don't have to actually have the book and read it page by page yourself with your own eyes to be considered a book reader. That's why we have Kindle. That's why we have Audible. If somebody reads a book to you, it's the same as reading it yourself. Now, I do encourage everybody to get the physical copies of these books. I think Lakeisha put it in the chat. And if you don't see that, go ahead and look at the description of this video. Click that link. It'll take you straight to Amazon so you can grab the right version of this book. I want you to get the physical copies. But by just sitting here listening to me for 30, 45 minutes a day, we only do this Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But just sitting here listening to me read to you, it's the same as you reading yourself. But you get to multitask because you're probably at work. Maybe you're driving a car right now. Maybe you're relaxing. And if you just listen to me read to you, it's just like as if you're reading a book yourself. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Turn your volumes up, put your headphones on, put your earbuds in, and let's get to it. Chapter 25 of the Book of Obsidian, the ladies' edition. The funny thing is the word colorism, that's what we're reading about today. The colorism, Canard, and other Black female delusions. The funny thing is the word colorism doesn't even exist. Not officially, it doesn't. It autocorrects on one's computer screen if you try to type it. It does not appear in the dictionary. Colorism, the word colorism does not appear in the dictionary. Still, the author and activist Alice Walker is the person most often credited with first using the word colorism out loud and in print. In an essay that appeared in her 1983 book, In Search of Our Mother's Gardens, Walker defined colorism as prejudicial or preferential treatment of same race people based solely on their color. Light skin preference had been common practice in the black community for generations, but Walker gave it a name and marked it as an evil that must be stopped in order for African Americans to progress as a people. That was written by Lori Tharps in The Difference Between Racism and Colorism in Time magazine. So now I knew, what up, Sheed? And before we go, I want to just put this out there. My man Sheed, one of my favorite YouTubers, says because of this podcast, because of Rich People Read and the edification and the things that we learn and we share in our little corner of YouTube, Sheed has bought 2 business books that he otherwise wouldn't have bought if we didn't share information amongst each other. Shout out to my man Sheed. Hoo-ah! All right. And he's driving, listening right now. My man. All right, here we go. I knew it wouldn't be long after posting my Plight of the Black Plain Jane to an internet forum that I frequent that I would have to field questions and suffer through an umpteenth round of laments about Eurocentric beauty standards and bemoaning the chimera of colorism in our time today from those black ladies who are considered to be outside of the line of sight by the princely class of black men. Despite what I consider to be one of the more understanding writs on the black female condition, I suppose that old adage is true after all, that no good deed goes unpunished. So be it. Let's take things a bit further and pick up where I left off, shall we? Newsflash, ladies. Beauty is not subjective. Beauty is not subjective. Oh, I just got into a sidebar. I just got into a big old discussion the other day. I was telling people that the term high value man is not subjective. Oh, high value man is what you make of it. No. A high quality man is subjective. What you consider quality is not what somebody else considers quality, but value is based on the marketplace. High value men are not subjective. That's an objective term, period. Beauty is not subjective. Oh, well, what you think is beautiful, I think is ugly. Really? 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 What the general consensus across the world considers the most beautiful woman on the planet is considered ugly by others? Let's continue to see what he says. What up, Peter Investor? Good to have you here, bro. Yes, it is true that in our Instagram age, black women who very well might have paired off with a decent, not great, but just decent guy, now finds themselves in a quite quandary. Black men, like all men, are visually attuned to the timeless aesthetic of beauty, and no, it's not in the eye of the beholder, nor is it subjective. These are polite contrivances we tell ourselves to justify why such timeless beauty is out of reach if we're male, or why it's some kind of white patriarchal plot against the sisterhood if you're a woman, if you're female. But holy boly Nollywood, the global fashion and makeup industries, even the adult film business and its spinoffs can't make hundreds of billions of dollars a year if there were no objective basis for female beauty. And this is what it means when we say beauty is not subjective. It's not in the eyes of the beholder. Every black woman hearing Shannon's voice may not have the kind of beauty that nets her millions of dollars off her looks alone. I'm sorry. Like Amber Rose as an example. But every black woman reading this or listening to Shannon knows what it's like to be young, let's say between age 18 and 25, and knows what kind of pull that can bring, even at its modest level. Yeah, see, that's one measure of what subjective beauty can do for black women. And yeah, youth plays a huge role in that. Being young, ladies, plays a huge role in that. However, that is but one measure. Things get a little tricky when we consider the other things, right? What St. Kevin Samuels had said classifies as classic beauty and lists names. Kevin called out names such as Holly Berry, right? Or Diane Carroll, Dorothy Dandridge as prima facie examples. Yes, what all of those ladies have in common is they're mixed. Or to put it another way, they're quote unquote not too black looking features, their lighter skin complexion, more flaxen hair, and their slimmer silhouettes, features that make them a hit among fellas both in and outside of Black America. They are classic beauties, as we call it, because of their mass appeal across racial and class lines. Now, the Black Plain Janes, the Plain Jane Black women, a term that I coined in yesterday's Musings of the Day to convey in an idea is not a term of science. It's more of a term of art. But we all know what I'm talking about. And I even cited two very well-known examples to illustrate the point. Former First Lady Michelle Obama, as an example. And then there's the Georgia gubernatorial candidate, Stacey Abrams. Y'all know who about her, right? Big old Stacey. Neither would possess that quote unquote classic beauty that Kevin Samuels talked about. And in fact, both would be at best plain. In the case of the former, Miss Michelle Obama, to downright homely. In the case of the latter, in the case of the latter, no matter how much Black women who strongly identify with both for the obvious reasons attempt to gussy it up, the cold truth of the matter is that you don't have to hear the guys who matter pining away for either of them. Way too polite and diplomatic to be forward, such a strata of Black men will play along with the charade that all Black women are beautiful, right? You'll hear that from Black guys across the board. Quite a few in our time, in fact, deliberately play to such Black women's delusions in the guise of Black love experts. We not need recount the many names and personages, do we? Now, in yesterday's writing, I argued that as time goes on and as we progress further in the 21st century, we can expect that more Black plain Jane women to take up the mantle in various quote unquote causes, right? And they're going to be involved in all the movements in a bid to appeal to the upper crust of Black men. And indeed, we've seen just that. The colorism crusade attempts to browbeat top-tier Black men into accepting darker-skinned Black women as mates, lest they be deriding of being racist or once removed. The body positivity or the fat shaming movement attempts to literally strong-arm high-performing Black men into accepting their ample selves. Recall Lizzo, outrageous actions at the Staples Center only a month or two prior to the NBA legend Kobe Bryant unfortunate demise. Remember when Lizzo was walking and she had her ass out, was walking at the top tier at the Staples Center, and we're supposed to men was just supposed to accept that nasty shit. Anyways, the anti-street harassment campaigns are a ham-fisted attempt to weed out those Black men deemed undesirable by the ladies, while at the same time attempting to appeal to the better-heeled brothers, all to no avail. One would think that this cohort of Black women, who, as I pointed out yesterday, tend to be highly educated and very smart. These women are highly educated. They got all the degrees, all the way up to PhDs. They're very smart. Would measure their quote-unquote campaigns by their effectiveness or the lack thereof and act accordingly. And the results are none. The results are none of them have proven effective in moving the needle in terms of getting the guys that they want to want them back. None. Doesn't matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how many movements you join, how many causes you take up, how fat you are, and you wear shit that makes you that you think that men should think is sexy at the Staples Center. None of your efforts are working. Nevertheless, the band plays on. The band plays on as yet another movement, campaign, or some other rolls off the assembly line in the movie of the week fashion. Indeed, one of the latest in this regard is an outfit on Instagram called darkest.hue. I haven't heard of that. Have you guys heard of that Instagram page called darkest.hue? Hue? That last time I checked boasts upwards of 100,000 followers and is headed up by one Miss TK Sakoch, an early 20-something-year-old Columbia undergrad by way of Sierra Leone, who moonlights as an anti-colorism crusader. Sakuch, she was even feted by the Today Show and founded by Citibank in the fall of 2021. Unfortunately, she and tens of thousands of young Black women, even girls, that she appeals to is the latest iteration of laments and scapegoating and thin-skinned bleeding that is by now a very old story. It's time that someone stopped the madness already. Might as well be me. Ladies, I'm here to tell you the brutal truth about what's really got the losers, ladies, butt hurt. Here's the brutal truth about what really got the loser ladies butt hurt. Since there's no point in continuing to coddle the ladies, no point in to pander to you, I will be exceptionally blunt. The farther you as a Black woman fall from the quote unquote classic beauty standard, the less likely you will be able to appeal to the masters of the universe type Black men. You all know what I'm talking about, so please don't attempt to play a whack-a-mole with me. And yes, there are notable exceptions, as always, but they will only serve to prove the mind-numbingly consistent rule. These guys are impervious to your quote-unquote campaigns and your movements and your appeals. They want what they want and like what they like and are in a prime position to get it. Worse, they won't even bother attempting to do what I'm doing right now. They won't tell you the truth, which is sparing you any further humiliation or embarrassment by putting you out of your misery. They will simply use their relative wealth and prestige to fix it to where, on one hand, only those classic beauties can get into the club, and on the other, fix it to where you won't be able to. You can scream, you can yell, you can protest and hashtag all yourselves until you're blue in the face on the outside looking in. But you will not matter one jot or tittle. You'll just be outside of the VIP crying. It is what it is, ladies. As one lady commenter in a forum that I frequently rightly observed, if you're a Black woman with more ethnic class appeal, that is to say, an exaggerated figure, right? You know what I mean, like darker skin or more West African facial features, including hair, kinkier hair and stuff like that, and so on, you will be able to appeal to Black men more germane to a certain class. The Instagram model look, for example, is something that will tend to appeal to more lower class and working class men for a long-term mating. The big curvy girls with the big asses and shit. In particular, even those with the hourglass figures, snatched waists, and pretty faces will appeal to this strata of Black men in the main. The masters of the universe level guys are pretty much off limits for her, though. Unless she's down with a roll in the hay or two on the quiet, I mean, he'll smash. But it won't matter how much education you have. It wouldn't matter how many degrees you have, what you have, or what job you have, or the money that you make either. But you know what? None of what I just said is any closely guarded. You know what? None of what I just said is any closely guarded state secret. Black women know what I'm saying, and they know that it's true. They just don't want to accept it and move on. But What I want to say next is something that's never acknowledged in this discussion about beauty standards. Okay, so listen up. Hey, Trina. The truth has set them free, Trina. Hey, Tia. I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for pulling up. Okay, listen, ladies. As a blue collar, shorter in stature black man, this is Obsidian speaking, who is nevertheless very bright. He's very hardworking and and the very personification of a self-made man in every way. I know only too well just how far I too fall from the ideal handsome standard for black women. And quite a few black women were keen to remind me of this fact a number of times over the course of my life. Black plain Jane women attempt to poo-poo this fact on the rare occasion when it comes up by invoking exceptional non-select black men like Kevin Hart, as an example, or regale men with stories about how their daddies were blue-collar men and their supposed love for their dads. But their old Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. Simply put, what really chaps my hide about these quote-unquote victims is that they want to rail against the world and really the extremely small pool of exceptional black men that they want, while at the same time pissing on the heads of black men they themselves don't want. It's one thing to not be the bee's knees in the eyes of the others, but it's something else to be a scapegoat that's gaslighted into thinking it's raining outside when one of these ladies is squatting over their face and tinkling on it. The sheer hypocrisy and hubris combined from you black women, many of you black women, makes for a heady draught of delusional brew. And as a black man who sits on the opposite side of the classic beauty divide, I have had enough. Black men like me don't get to be able to make our personal shortcomings and failings into cause celebrity movements. We're forced to accept life on its own terms and get on with the business of living. We either accept the black women that we can get, or we decline them and move on alone, and all that it entails. I chose the latter because I'm man enough to admit that a plain Jane with a heart of gold, who is truly a good person, she's smart, and all the rest, simply didn't make my nether regions move. I decided to choose nothing at all and get on with it. That meant that I would have to look out for myself in every way. My health care, my life insurance, my estate planning after I'm gone, because I wouldn't have a spouse and children to do it for me. Yeah, it sucks that we don't or can't appeal to those we want. And I consider it something of a cruel joke that people who do want you make your skin crawl, right? The people who like you the most, you just are like, ugh, why him or why her, right? But contrary to Shrek fantasies, and especially in visually driven hedonistic world, plain or even ugly folk don't pair off anywhere near what we like to think they do. Many on both sides have made the quiet conclusion that they can do bad all by themselves, especially in present day Black America. I'm sorry, but the time is fast approaching when the plain Jane Black women are going to have to accept some harsh truths of life and get on with the business of living too. Guys like me certainly did. And that is it on chapter 25, you guys. The next chapter, and we're going to be done for the day, is 26. Single mothers are grown for grown men only. Really? But about that last chapter, ladies, beauty is not subjective. It's not in the eyes of the beholder and all that bullshit. There's a beauty standard worldwide. And there's a reason why Halle Berry was the most beautiful woman in the world 3 times in a row. And I think she was nominated 5 times. Beyonce, I think twice. It's not a subjective term, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a subjective ideology. And if you know that you're ugly, you're not going to be able to convince men by getting another fucking degree. You're not going to be able to convince men by joining Black Lives Matter or some other fucking socially conscious cause to show him how down to earth you are. It just does. Men want what they want, and there's nothing that you can do about it. And here's the thing: men understand that on our side. There's nothing a short guy can do to convince you to like short men. If you like tall men, you like what you like, ladies. If you like the guy with the sexy body or a good-looking dad bod, a decent dad bod, if you like the guy with straight teeth, there's nothing that a guy with fucked up teeth can do about that. He cannot talk his way into your bed and make you moist simply to make up for his fucked up teeth. It is what it is. Now, let's talk about single mothers who are for grown men only. While the online Black community was still reeling from yet another frontal assault on Black men en masse in the form of very smart brother Damon Young's missive arguing that straight, not gay, straight Black men were somehow the white people of Black people. Last month, another bullshit bomb was dropped by its self-titled poet, author, and newly minted relationship expert, Mr. One Derek Jackson. For those who may not be aware, Derek Jackson can be seen on Facebook. He's on Instagram and increasingly on YouTube, playing his apologia for the Black female fuckery trade, doing what all such quote unquote experts do, telling Black women what they want to hear. Not necessarily the truth, and definitely not the facts. His most recent work, Single Mothers Are for Grown Men Only, One Man's Takedown of the Stereotypes Against Single Mothers. That was his most recent book. Single Mothers Are for Grown Men Only. Firmly establishes the heterotype category Jackson when it came to tossing his hat into the Black male relationship expert industrial complex ring. Well, a relationship expert, right? Now that he has, and I fully consider him fair game. Now, sans any experience in the realm of parenting, because Obsidian doesn't have any children, right? Marriage or relationships at just under 30, how much of a track record he could really have, right? Because Derek Jackson was only 29 when he came out with that book. Jackson himself, Derek Jackson, nevertheless sees himself as eminently qualified to give homespun wisdom and common sense to the Black female adult masses. But if the aforementioned young piece over at VSB and the more recent one appearing on Madame Noir's website, how many of you guys go to Madame Noir's website? I mean, don't go there if you want to. Anyways, written by staffer Veronica Wells, where she argues for calling Black men en masse terrorists. She called pretty much Black men are terrorists. Is anything to go by. It is clear that Black women couldn't give a shit about facts, give a shit about data or empirical evidence. They don't care about the truth, especially when any of the above might threaten to cast them in a less favorable light. Talk about don't bring me no bad news. The age of ignorance is upon us indeed. The personal is political, sort of. You see, the basis of Derek Jackson's book is half excoriation of Black men. He's just dogging Black guys. He's just letting niggas ain't shit, right? Half the book is just niggas ain't shit. And half of it is apologia for the horrendous life choices of so many Black women. He's telling you that even though you fucked up and made that bad decisions, it's not your fault. All couched in terms explained by the subtitle on one cover, One Man's Takedown of the Stereotypes Against Single Mothers, and puts it in the context of the supposedly fine exemplar and exceptional single moms like his own, Barack Obama's and Sierra, right? Prior to her highly publicized and highly controversial wedding to Super Bowl winning quarterback Russell Wilson. You see, Derek Jackson argues that these heroines, these exceptional women, are getting short shrift in the court of public opinion, and he's here to swing into action like the proverbial Captain Save-A-Ho to set the record straight. Unfortunately, though, and no small surprise to me in the least, Derek Jackson's extraordinary claims aren't accompanied with any corresponding evidence. All we have is his quote unquote wisdom, his 29-year-old wisdom on the matter, all of which is jam-packed in 130 pages. No references, no citations, no footnotes, no bibliography. He doesn't even have an index. Just one oversized pamphlet comprised of 24 quote unquote chapters that purports to tell it like it is. Too bad, ladies, the facts, evidence, and data, now more than a generation in scope, say otherwise. Well, let's get into that in a moment. It's amazing, sidebar, it's amazing how as long as you tell people what they want to hear, they don't give a fuck about nothing else. Not a single citation, statistic, or fact in that book, and he sold the shit out of those to women that needed to hear it and said, yes, that's the truth. For now, though, we have to appreciate the fact that it is completely understandable. We appreciate the fact that it is completely understandable that Derek Jackson, a guy who prides himself on being the catnip to ladies combo of tough on the outside and soft on the inside, would make this book, at least in part, personal. Sure, assuming that his mother was indeed exceptional, okay, even taking for granted that the same was true for Barack Obama's mama, and even assuming that's the same thing for Sierra, right? The evidence, again, sadly bears out that this is simply not the case for the rank and file black baby mama. And no amount of hawking, feel-good, overgrown pamphlets to black women to whom the designation baby mama accurately applies is going to change that harsh reality on the ground. Just the facts, Derek Jackson, just the facts. So without further ado, here's just a few of the hard and fast facts about the realities of single motherhood. Here's the harsh realities of single motherhood. Number one, single mothers are 30% less likely to marry than their non-baby mama counterparts. If you are a single mother, you have 30% less chance of finding somebody to marry you. That's 1/3 damn near. Number two, those single moms who do marry, the ones that actually do jump the broom, they get hubbies that are significantly older, less educated, and therefore make significantly less money than women who get married before having kids by somebody else. If you do get married, you're marrying a broke old nigga. First of all, you're 30% less chance of getting married. And if you do get married, he's likely going to be an old, broke motherfucker. Number three, more than 30% of baby mamas and their kids' families live in poverty versus only 6% of married mamas. 30% of baby mamas live at the poverty line or under it, as opposed to 6% of those that's married. And number four, even when baby mamas do get married, even when the ladies do get married, those marriages are markedly less quality. They don't go the distance and have all manners of problems due in large part to the aforementioned stock of men available for these baby mamas to marry in the first place. The niggas that you meet ain't quality dudes, and you just having house problem after house problem, cheating, cheating. He's shiftless. He don't want to work. He's a PlayStation 5 guy. He's not fit. He doesn't value fitness or health or eating well. He doesn't care about none of that stuff. He doesn't read. He thinks if you pick up a book, he's looking at you like, why are you reading that? That's just stupid. Let's go out here and, but he's quick to go to the club. He's a club goer. Now, ladies, keep in mind that the aforementioned study survey was based on a statistically significant sample of single mothers nationwide, regardless as to what color they are, right? That's for just that went across the board, Black, white, Asian, or Latino. Now let's bring in the hard and fast stacks as they relate to Black America. Let's talk about Black women. That's what those 4 points was just for all baby mamas. Now let's talk about the Black ones. Number one, according to blackdemographics.com, the current marital rate in Black America is 29%, an all-time low since the U.S. Census records have been kept starting in 1890. We are at the lowest we've ever been since we start keeping records in 1890. 29% marital rate. People ain't getting married. Number two, according to governmental sources such as the CDC and the U.S. Census, the Black out-of-wedlock birth rate has now exceeded 70%. 10 women in the room, 7 of them ain't married. 10 baby mamas in the room. Let me be clear. 10 baby mamas in the room. 7 of them had them babies without a husband. And the dense urban inner cities like Baltimore and Newark and Philly and New York City, that number could reach as high as 80%. It's only at 70% because we're counting the small sparse cities. You get into the real hoods, it's up to 80%. And number three, put the two above facts and the OSU, Ohio State University, study together with the fact that most Black women have a net worth of $5. Most Black women have a net worth of $5 based on what they owe. Remember, it's all about what's your debt, how many assets you have, what's in your bank account, how much property you own, how many cars, what's your jewelry like. Most women is in the negative. But the average Black woman in America has a net worth of $5. And you can see how and why so many Black women are, in fact, either living in poverty or on its knife's edge. Baby mamaism leads to either not getting married at all or marrying a markedly lower quality of man, which in turn leads to, you guessed it, poverty. It is what it is. I don't care what you see on Instagram. I don't give a fuck about her story and how she's living it up on vacation. She's worth $5. If you were to peel back the curtain and take a glance into her bank account and I know she lives in Miami and she's always at, live in Miami and she's flossing, or she's in Atlanta. No, ladies and gentlemen, she's worth $5. In the United States of America, for most people, most of the time, the surefire way out of poverty and into the middle class is to get married before you have kids, period. Stay married. Once you do, both of you and your spouse work, you plan and save, and voila, just like that. You've made it into the middle class, just like that. Shout out to Walter Williams. Of the relatively few married Black American couples remaining who have adhered to this script, they are living proof of its veracity. But the harsh truth is, so many Black women knock themselves completely out of the running to a good life here in America because so many of them make so many damn bad decisions with the men they date, with the lies they tell, with the babies they're making, with the people with the friends they keep, with the places they go. Which brings me to the next point. Giving baby mamas a pass. giving baby mamas a pass. We're almost done, you guys. As previously noted, Derek Jackson spends a good amount of his book upbraiding black men on one hand, while giving nothing but context to black baby mamas on the other. For example, he attempts to explain away, rationalize, and justify how and why so many black women get with ain't shit black men, also known as thugs and ne'er-do-wells and the like. Niggas, you know, niggas with the full sleeve tattoos and the full grill and just the nigga shit, right? It's because Derek Jackson argues so many black women are so tired of wolves in sheep's clothing, black men. Like a guy like me, I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing, apparently. Like a Shannon, right? Look good on the outside, but apparently I'm just this ain't shit nigga, really. Can't afford nothing, don't buy nothing, don't treat women right, I'm a liar, I'm a cheater, I'm a philanderer, I do drugs. But if you look at my photo, if you look at my Instagram, I'm a great guy, right? This is truly interesting development to witness. Since the rise of what some have dubbed, quote unquote, the black manosphere on social media and YouTube in particular, where everyday black men are now having a platform to have their sides of the story being told, black women and their proxies like Derek Jackson can no longer deny that they do indeed have a thing for thugs and knuckleheads. Women just like motherfuckers that don't give a shit about them, that ain't shit. And so what they've done now is blame the victim and kill the messenger. Blame the victim and kill the messenger. But attempting to frame their incredibly fucked up mating choices on fake good brothers, right? It couldn't possibly have anything to do with the fact that so many black women's mating compasses are so askew and so out of calibration to begin with. It couldn't possibly have anything to do with so many black women simply not valuing boring qualities. I talked about boring the other day, sidebar. I told you to be interested in the boring guy. I'm boring as fuck. Date me and expect boring and security. I'm safe and secure. We go on planned vacations, right? I'm not just, I don't fly by the seat of my pants. If you're looking for action and excitement, go somewhere else. I'm not him. I'm the nigga that's gonna keep you solid until you 80 years old. But you want to live a fast life, you gotta go down the block, right? Like honesty, right? Boring stuff like honesty. That's boring, to be honest. You want a nigga that's gonna lie to you and lie real good. Character and work ethic. You don't want nobody that's got like on a schedule, has tasks to do every day. Studiousness. You don't want anybody that reads books. Like, who wants a nigga that reads books? Ladies. Like, he reads? Come on. It couldn't have anything to do with the fact that so many black women are drawn like a moth to a flame to the worst kinds of men. And it couldn't possibly have anything in the least to do with the idea that so many black women honestly believe that they can, quote unquote, change him. Right? You're going to change him. Not at all, right? You see, Derek Jackson further argues that to suggest that a black baby mama should have done better a job of vetting her baby daddy is unfair. It's unfair to blame her for picking that ain't shit nigga. That's unfair. Since no one is a psychic, no one can predict how a person is going to be. But the simple truth is that so many of these women were living in denial, refusing to see and accept what was clearly right in front of them. Look, knuckleheads are called as such because no one is accusing them of being criminal masterminds. As Derek Jackson himself is in this book, these guys wear their thuggishness on their sleeves. The niggas that don't care about you show that they don't care about you. Everybody, throw your ones up.
Being number one isn't easy.
Thank you, Fatty. Thank you for that blessing. Appreciate you for the blessing. I don't know how to translate that dollar amount into American dollars, but it's a blessing nonetheless. I appreciate you, Fatty. Everybody throw your ones up to
Being
Fatty.
number one isn't easy.
Thank you so much. Let's continue. No one's accusing these guys of being criminal masterminds. These guys wear their thuggishness on their sleeve. Pookie, you know what ain't shit motherfucker by his behavior and how he talks to you, how he treats you, how he walks, how he talks, the things that he eats, the things that he says, his attention. You know it when you see it. And you're drawn to him like a moth to a flame. What you see is what you get, ladies. And when so many black women get invariably burned in the end, rode hard, fucked hard, hung out, wet, with several kids in tow, how many black baby mamas do you personally know who has only one child, right? Now, all of a sudden, these women turn to men like Derek Jackson, who will tell them that black men ain't shit. All for a fee, of course. You got to pay him to be told that. He's not going to just tell you. You got to make sure you buy a book. Make sure you buy a book. Moreover, as noted in the highly acclaimed work, Promises I Can Keep, Why Poor Women Put Motherhood Before Marriage. Damn, who wrote that? Moreover, as noted in the highly acclaimed book, Promises I Can Keep, Why Poor Women Put Motherhood Before Marriage. Its authors like Catherine Eaton and Maria Kafalis note that poor, read black, right? They're saying poor, but they really mean black. Women know exactly what they're doing when they get knocked up, contrary to popular and grossly misinformed opinion. Many of these women get pregnant for varying reasons, ranging from being able to garner attention in their social circle or family and neighborhood to having someone to love. They have a baby so they can have someone to love, to changing a man, and so on. Those profiled in this groundbreaking work saw having a baby as one of the relative few things they can do. They can't do shit else. They don't have any skills. They don't have any talents. But nobody's interested in how smart they are. They're not beauty. They can't make money on their beauty. But what they can do is have a baby. Amidst a sea of despair that surrounds them, many know that they aren't likely to ever become wives, but they can become single mothers. And so they do. Of course, Derek Jackson won't cite any of those facts, though, right? Because he's either A, doesn't know them to begin with, or B, dares not bring such unsavory facts before the sisterhood, lest they turn on him like killer bees on a swarm. You just can't make this stuff up. Speaking of which, Bizarro Land is Black America. You guys all heard of Bizarro Land, right? Many of y'all live in Bizarro Land. Thank you, Fatty. I appreciate that. Thank you, Fatty. Bizarro Land is Black America. Now, we only got 3 pages left. Okay, on my daily podcast show, aimed at black men, and which can be heard on YouTube, I often liken Black America to one of Superman's enemies, the villain Bizarro. For those who are only or largely familiar with Superman due to Christopher Reeves or Henry Cavill films, or those in the audience old enough to remember when George Reeves' television show that originally aired in the 1950s, I'm not old enough for that, you might not recognize the name Bizarro. I never heard of Bizarro, right? But for diehard comic book fans like yours truly, knew him very well. You see, unlike Lex Luthor or General Zod, Bizarro was in many ways exactly like Superman, just a hyped up, twisted, perverted version of himself. Bizarro had many of the same qualities as Superman, but he was a very askew version of him at the same time. Recall a funny house or Hall of Mirrors. When you go into a carnival, right? So if you guys have ever been to a fair or a carnival or some sort in your city, the traveling fairs, think about that funny house or the Hall of Mirrors. How your face and your body look kind of distorted. Well, that's Bizarro. And I've long argued that Black America itself is in so many ways the Bizarro land to white America's Superman. Why am I bringing this up? Because earlier in this piece, I cited that Miss Kay Himowitz, a Jewish woman whose work in the area of documenting 70 ways to Sunday how and why baby mamaism has utterly destroyed Black America and is on a fast track to doing the same to the nation at large, In the annals of human history, one is hard pressed to come up with a group of people more obsessed with matchmaking than the Jewish people are. Okay, the Desu Hindu Indians come to a close second. You ever heard of speed dating? It was invented by a Jewish rabbi. The dating and mating coaching business is disproportionately represented by Jewish people. Evan, Mark Katz, and Rachel Greenwald, and Susan Patton, and et cetera, and et al. Even one of the most popular Jewish-themed musicals turned major motion pictures ever, Fiddler on the Roof. Damn, I haven't seen that movie in 30 years. I got to add that to my can somebody DM me and tell me to add Fiddler on the Roof to my just to my list of movies to watch? I remember that movie. Fiddler on the Roof. Notes, this fact is one of its signature songs. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. Matchmaker, matchmaker, make me a match. It is downright inconceivable to see or hear a Jewish person actually arguing what Derek Jackson does vis-a-vis his book. In fact, the only place where such a book could be written, published, and then taken seriously, sans even scintilla of evidence, data, facts to back it up, is in Bizarro Land. Black America, because everywhere else, the very idea would be laughed out of polite society. Only in Black America could he write a book not citing one fucking source and acting like an authority, and he's only 29 years old. It only works in the Black community. It doesn't work nowhere else. In fact, comparing Jewish to Black America is a case study in serious contrast, because the former praises the thing Walter Williams notes above, while the latter clearly does not, and it shows. One of the major reasons why Jewish America is so very successful and why Black America is not is almost entirely due to the topic of this book review. Simply put, baby mamaism is a fast track to nowhere. Himowitz cares more about the Black family than Derek Jackson does, and this too shows. Just compare and contrast their respective writings. That Jackson is able to get any traction at all with his screed just goes to show how askew modern day Black women truly is. Unfreaking believable. And lastly, ladies, last few paragraphs. Baby mamas, what are they good for? Baby mamas, what are they good? Oh, you're boring too, Lakeisha? Okay. As noted in the title of this book, Derek Jackson argues that only quote unquote grown men like Shannon, right, can or should be able to deal with a baby mama. It's a lot of shaming language and pandering and sound and fury, signifying nothing. But on the contrary, smart, successful men who have their heads on straight not only avoid baby mamas, they fix their lives such that their social world orbits stay far, far away from that single mom. Never shall the two collide. This is borne out right there in Derek Jackson's adopted hometown of Atlanta, Georgia. Long seen the Black Mecca, right? That's what Atlanta is looked at, the Black Mecca of Black America, according to Wikipedia. ATL now has one of the highest percentages of Black advanced degree holders than anywhere else in the country outside of the historic Prince George's County of Maryland. Atlanta is home to Georgia Tech, Clark Atlanta University, and of course, Morehouse. And that's not counting for the thousands of successful Black men who relocate to otherwise spend formidable amounts of time in the Peachtree State. Put another way, if you're a Black woman who's looking to mate with a smart, successful Black man, Atlanta should be on your to-do list, right? Should be on your to-do list right behind Prince George County. If for no other reason than simple fact that there are just more of them per capita than other areas of the country. But ladies, here's the rub. Now I get it. Go to Atlanta to get a man. I know a woman. I told you guys I know somebody that I was friends with. And we kind of like sort of dated about 12 years ago, back in 2010, 2011. She's super successful, moved fast in her retail business. She packed up and went to Atlanta, bought a house. And out of it, it was literally out of the frying. Because, you know, niggas in LA ain't shit. That was, you know, nigga can't find no man in LA, blah, blah, blah. Now she's super single. She was single here. In Atlanta, she's super single. And she was bad. She's body, all of that, hair, everything. Super single. She was duped. I know more people that's thinking about going to Atlanta because they think Atlanta is the place to go to find a man. Here's the rub, ladies. Well, that reduces your chances of even catching the eye of those guys significantly, to say nothing of actually locking down one of those guys. If you're a baby mama, if you're going to Atlanta and you're a baby mama and you expect to find one of those Ivy League guys, you can pretty much fucking forget about it. Add to this the incredibly high clinical morbid obesity rates amongst black women, fat black women, especially in the South. Yet another major issue that Derek Jackson dedicated gym rat, who is keen to let his fawning fangirls know it is hosting live chats and the like shirtless, demurs from telling the sisterhood the truth about. He doesn't talk about fat black women, right? Even though his ass is in the gym 8 days a week. High school, car house, and consumer debt, notoriously bitchy attitudes. And well, now you know why so many of Derek Jackson's fangirls are constantly talking about ain't shit black men, especially the ones in Atlanta. As the Ohio State University study cited earlier makes clear, when you fuck up your life with bad decision after bad decision like so many black women do, all that's left available for you is ain't shit black men, which in Atlanta can be largely found on the southern half of the city. The better off brothers tend to be on the northern side. Water really does seek its own level, which also explains how and why black women as a group are the least married cohort of American women. Not only do better off black men don't want to be bothered by and large, but neither do American men of other races. And that sidebar, that always reminds me of the women. You should just date out. Oh, you think that's that easy? You know why they're not interested in you. Ladies, I'm sorry. Brad, Mr. Lee, and Enrique is not interested in you like that. Black men love black women. That's the way that goes. Black men love black women. You think you're going to have a baby, be a baby mama, and then just date out? You think it's that easy? Okay. And you just a plain Jane? Okay. This is something that is repeatedly borne out by the stats and data bearing not only on marriage, but even on dating studies. Of course, because this is bizarro black America we're talking about, and catering to black women and what they want to hear at that, this is yet another fact that will be conveniently left out of Derek Jackson's daily mini diatribes on YouTube, left out of his books, and left off of his t-shirts and whatever else he can get his hands on to hawk to the ladies. Bottom line, ladies, and we'll wrap it up with this. Being a baby mama is a virtual guarantee. Being a baby mama in 2022 is a virtual guarantee that your life and that life of your kids is filled with hardships, pain, poverty, and potentially even death. That is not hyperbole, ladies. That is the cold, hard truth that the BMREIC simply will not tell you. Instead, you know what they'll tell you? They'll continue to fill your heads with the absolute nonsense about how it is somehow all black men's fault for not seeing your baby mama's seeing your baby mama as a worthy mate and wifey material. Facts, evidence, and data to the contrary be damned. But As the wise man from the previous era, one Niccolo Machiavelli, said so very well, and y'all know who Machiavelli is, right? Men are so simple of mind and so much dominated by their immediate needs that a deceitful man will always find plenty who are ready to be deceived. Men are so simple of mind and so much dominated by their infinite and immediate needs that a deceitful man will find plenty of women who's ready to be deceived. Something to think about as you read Derek Jackson's books, ladies. And my friends, we are done. Appreciate you guys. You know what's interesting? When I start reading, well, I start off with 2-3 people. And then when I get to the end of the book, it'd be like 15, 20, sometimes 30 people. But then the show was over. I know if this was an open panel, and I'm going to start doing more open panels. I had my children all last month, every day, right? That's what me and my ex-wife decided to do. And so they're going to be with her starting next week. And I'm going to use a lot of that time to spend here on YouTube. Open panels. We're starting a new podcast called Wifey School. And then following that, we're going to have one called Hubby School. I'm looking for smart women. To join me on Wifey School. We're going to teach these ladies what they need to know. Baby mamaism is on the rise. And, I talk about that one interview that Saweetie did last year after her album came out on the BET red carpet, where she was interested. She said, what are you looking to do next? And Saweetie was like, oh, I want a baby. And the lady was like, you got a man? She was like, no, I ain't got no man, but I want the baby. And I'm thinking to myself, you got to be fucking kidding me. I did a show on it. I did a check this out on it. Go look at one of my earlier check this outs. It blew my mind to hear her say that, and so many young women are following her footsteps and wants to be like her. And so they sold on just become a baby mama. That's what Sierra's prayer is all about when you look at Summer Walker. The Sierra's prayer tells you, I had the baby and that's fine. Now, send me a man to take care of me and my baby. The Sierra's prayer is not find me a husband or a good man and then we can build a family. No. Sierra's prayer is, I'm a baby mama and I got my blessing. Now can you get me a man to take care of us? That's the shit that's being peddled to you ladies, and you all are eating it up. You're eating it up. Not the smart ones though. I'm not talking to these smart ladies. It's a few smart ones out there. The problem is you smart ladies your voices are getting drowned out. The sisterhood will not let you speak up. I hear stuff all the time on Clubhouse. I can't believe you said, as a woman, why would you tell another woman? It's almost like they shame you. Women get more sign language to other women than they give to men. Women give more sign language, shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right to women more than they give it to men. And they sign language they ass into silence. They shut them down, and I see it day after day. How dare you say that? You can't tell me that, even though it could be factually true. If it goes against the narrative, or I was talking to a good friend last night. I was talking to somebody just last night, and she told me that she made somebody cry on Clubhouse simply because she told her the fucking truth. And she told it to her in a manner in which she needed to hear it. And so she said, you hurt my feelings, and started to cry. This is what it means when the sisterhood pushes back. It's like, you can't talk. You're a woman. You can't talk to us like how dare you? Like how dare you tell me the truth? So shout out to the ladies that's smart out there, but to you, to the score and scores of women that just can't get their shit together. I hope you learn how to reprogram your software. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna go through the chat afterwards. I know you guys was talking, but I was trying to get through this one today. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for following. Thank you for sharing. Did you guys share? Did you hit the like button? First of all, I got 19 thumbs up. Can I get another thumb? Can I get 6 thumbs? No, I just want 1. Can you guys take me to 20 thumbs ups? 20 likes. Please subscribe to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel. Please, I just saw that thumbs up go. See, on my software, I get it's a thumb that floats up in the air like a shadow. Thank you for that. Whoever hit the thumbs up button, thank you so much. Please share this video to your YouTube page. Other people need to read it. Other women need to hear this kind of talk. I don't talk so. I've always been accused of being an asshole. I'm fine with that. I am a professional one now. I've always been accused of being an asshole, but now I'm a professional one. I have no problem telling people how it is. So, you know some people that need to hear this. Share it. This is Mr. Shannon giving you a nugget of raw wisdom to help you do better and be better. Y'all hear my Raw Wisdoms podcast. That's my tag signature. You know somebody that needs to hear this. Share it. This is Mr. Shannon giving you a nugget of raw wisdom to help you do better and be better. To help you do better and be better. And I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. I don't give a shit about your feelings, and neither does the truth. What up, Eric Jones? I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Remember, reading is the way to expand your mind and your bank account, both of them at the same time. Imagine that. Tune in next time. Tomorrow morning, actually, our very last chapter is chapter 27, and we're done with this book. It's only 11 pages. And you, my friends, are dismissed.
Yeah. Escucha. Mío en tu habitación, solo los 2 segundos que hay que detener. Porque si no siento tu voz o tu olor, te extraño y te quiero ver. Tanto me falta. Todas esas noches tan soñadas. Haces falta, bebé. Dime qué tengo que hacer pa' tenerte de una vez, pa' no poderte perder. Dulce, eres mi bombón. Te quiero melocotón. Por ti corro un maratón. Solo de la dirección. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor. Pa' mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor. Tú y yo, con esa conexión, somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta, todas esas noches tan soñadas, que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicar. Mira, somos perfectos, es algo indiscutible. Mi estilo y tu estilo no están disponibles. Solo soy sensible cuando te tengo porque eres irresistible. Tus labios combinan con tus ojos, porque eres tan pretty que hasta yo de eso miento. Chica, necesito mis anteojos. Quiero verte en noche hermosa de todos modos. Tú y yo, queriendo más amor. A mí no es suficiente. Yo quiero tu calor. Tú y yo, con esa conexión, somos lo que la gente no ha visto de los dos. Tanto me falta, todas esas noches tan soñadas, que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicar. Tanto me falta. Tan soñada, que me levantes a mirada. Tú tienes pinta de indicar.